Today I have something special for you. I'm in Miami, Oklahoma at the Newell factory where I'm getting a service, and today I'm going to walk around and give you an idea of what's all involved. Welcome to RV Squared. I'm Steve Vance. Today I'm at the Newell factory and I'm getting an annual service. This is a long process that they don't rush through. I come here because I get a lot of other things done other than just service. So it allows me to get mechanical things checked out, some body work, paint job being done, and a lot of different things that helps me learn how to keep this rig running as trouble-free as possible. So today I'm just going to walk around and show you all that's involved. I'm probably going to leave some stuff out, but it's going to give you a general idea of what all is involved. Now, I do this every year, and we put probably anywhere from 9 to 12,000 miles a year on our coach. So I find it very important to come here once every year to 18 months. And this runs about, last time it was about $3,500 with prices of supplies and petroleum products. I anticipate that's going to go up probably 20 or 30%, but we'll find out later. So to begin with, the generator has to be taken care of. Besides the obvious, which is the oil, they change the fuel filter, the oil filter, they check the coolant, and they also check the air cushions, which on a Newell helps it ride extra smooth when it's running and starting. They also check your fire extinguishers. This happens to be an automatic fire extinguisher that just charges, and it also shuts the fuel off. One of the nice things about being here is there's a lot of fluids on these rigs. It's not just oil, but it's antifreeze, hydraulic fluid, coolant, different chemicals they can actually capture and recycle properly. Where at home, you're dumping out 10, 20 or more gallons. You don't have an adequate disposal. It can be a real pain. So they pull the batteries out. They double check the batteries. If you have water levels, they'll check that. Of course, they do a load check on those. All your tires are checked. They take a look at your airbags. They'll check your air system. They'll make sure the pressure is all good. There's quite a bit to do on the engine. Besides just coolant, you've got transmission fluid that they change. They've got the air dryer, the hydraulic fluid filter. They've got 2 different stages of fuel filters they change. Of course, the oil. They check the belts. This round, I'm actually going to swap out my belts. Now, one little pro tip here is when you get new belts, what I like to do is I take the old belts off and I put those into reserve as an emergency spare. So that way you've always got a second set should something happen. This trip around, we're going to replace the alternator because it's not putting out the way it should. You got your coolant reservoir up here. Of course, they change the air filter. As your rigs age, you definitely want to keep track of your air conditioning. Now, mine developed a small little leak right up in here, and so that caused my coolant to leak and my air conditioning capacity went down. So I noted that and they checked it out, and it didn't take them far to get right here and found out that this hose clamp was a little bit loose and the hose was deteriorated, and that was a quick, easy fix. But had I let that go, it would have put a lot of stress on the air conditioner, not to mention the fact we wouldn't have any AC. Here's the chassis batteries. Of course, they'll test those. Coming up here to the fuel tank, they're always good about putting some biocide in the fuel tank just to keep it algae free, and that's something that a lot of people will do, especially in colder climates, on every tank. But Newell always puts additive in just for me, and then they'll leave that extra bottle right there, and so I'll store that away before I leave. Now, this is the generator radiator cooler, and they'll actually drain the radiator there as well and check to make sure that cooling fan is functioning correctly. So that's the mechanical side of things. You've got other things, which is the plumbing. So they'll have an HVAC tech go in here and they're going to check the air conditioning on the roof. They'll set the thermostats. They'll check your load on each air conditioner to make sure that it's not drawing too much amperage. These mock air conditioners, they draw about anywhere from 13 to 14 amps. If it goes significantly higher than that, you've got a load problem and your compressor could be going out. So the AquaHot unit inside has a filter, and that's where the nozzle is. That's changed out annually. You have a oil filter for the AquaHot. You've got your AquaHot coolant. And then down here, we have a dual stage water purifier, so they replace those cartridges as well. And notice that on each filter, they make sure they identify it with a date that was changed. And that's helpful for if you forget or you don't log it in, or even when they come back and check, they can see that that was replaced May 17th. One more reason to come here to Newell is because not only are they younger than I am, well, most of them are, they have the equipment to be able to get under the rig, and it's very dangerous if you don't jack the rig with stands when you actually lift the rig up. So they'll run it up on the airbags, which will lift this rig up enough inches to them being able to get underneath it. They'll inspect underneath. You want to inspect for road damage from any debris, rocks, sticks, or something like that that has come through and could have wiped out at least some of the insulation, the foam insulation that's on the underbody. But there are wires under there, and you want to make sure that nothing's gotten dislodged by something on the road. And they're going to go through that on a creeper, and they'll just kind of roll around and just check underneath, see if there's anything glaring, because the next stage what they're going to do is put on what's called the roll comp. So let's walk over and I'll show you what that looks like. So they bring the rig in here, and this is where it gets aligned, and they're going to check not only steer but also the tag axles. They put it up there and they check the front. They also measure the back, and this is obviously something you can't do at home.
Providing they have all the parts, Newell usually spends at least a couple days to get everything done. Sometimes scheduling can be a real problem because of the fact that they only have, for example, one roll comp rack. So sometimes that is the bottleneck. But usually I've been out of there in 2 to 3 days in terms of servicing. When it's all done, they'll get the rig all washed up for you and send you on your way. Of course, after you pay the bill. So that's it. Hope that helps. Just a really quick overview. By no stretch of the imagination is this all inclusive of everything they do, but it does give you a thumbnail idea of what's included in the annual service for a Newell.